Well, it'd be nice if they would...
Kate Malloy over at Fox News Radio, that's fine if they want to contact me, but, they did it a day before they wanted me, so to speak. And I don't think that's fair.
Okay, I understand. Believe me, I understand. Let me go to Joe.
I stand by the people who stood by me for years.
Well, that's certainly wonderful of you to say that. Let me go to Joe in Arkansas. Joe, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please, Joe.
Okay. I was recently listening to an economic expert named Dan Seeley on a local radio station. He was talking about the need for more jobs in the economy, and he was saying that government needs to cut taxes and cut regulations and so on like that, and I thought he was pretty good as far as he went. And I called in to advocate that Congress should use its constitutional authority to put tariffs on imports, and then we would get lots of industry and jobs back in this country. And he said we cannot do that because those other countries hold our debt. And it seems to me, unless we do that, we're never going to be able to earn the money we need to pay those debts. But I wanted to ask Bob Chapman, what does he think of this idea that we can't have tariffs on imports because those other countries hold our debt?
Okay, explain that. Bob, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, what he has said, the caller, is correct. What he said, not what the other gentleman said.
Mm-hmm.
If you heard what I said earlier in the program, the United States is going to officially devalue their currency next year. They have to. And when they do that, they will have to, not unilaterally, but multilaterally, come to a debt conclusion with all countries. And that's how they're going to absolve that. That's the only way it can be absolved because it's unpayable. And as you say, if they don't reimpose tariffs on goods and services, we can never, ever, ever climb out of the mire that we're in. And so we have to have them, and we have to have a default. But we're not going to be the only ones who are defaulting. There will be hundreds of other nations doing the same thing, and they will all be realigning their currencies. The dollar might go down against the Swiss franc, and the Swiss franc might go down against the Canadian dollar, and so on and so forth. And there's a precedence for this. In the early 1970s, they had the Smithsonian meetings. They had the Plaza Accord in 1985 in Paris, and then they had the Louvre Accord in 1987, where they readjusted currencies. People just don't know or don't remember. And so that's what's going to happen. And we are going to, quote, rise again economically and financially. But we have to go through those things, and people are going to lose a lot of money in the process.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's why I tell people on this program, and Ted Anderson, what to do with their money. Gold and silver.
Yes. Thank you very much, Joe. Joe makes way too much sense on the Power Hour program. He's always very good. Let's go to Frank in New York. Frank, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, with Bob Chapman.
Joyce, good morning, Bob.
Morning.
Listen, I have a question, Bob. The September 18th, is that the official end of the FDIC insurance on money market accounts in the United States? Was that
September
the day?
the 18th, yeah.
So that's for any money market account at the bank, even though they said they were insured by the FDIC?
The money market accounts have not been insured by the FDIC ever, as far as I know. What the government did is that they said 2 years ago, that was 2 years ago, September 18th of this year, that they would guarantee the assets of the mutual fund, of the money market funds. And now they have rescinded that. And the reason they did it is they wanted the money to go into U.S. Treasuries, and it did, $700 billion worth.
Wow, that is amazing. Hey, stay right there. We'll be right back after this 3-minute break. Stay tuned to the Power Hour with Bob Chapman. Welcome back to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for caring, and I do mean caring. That's what separates the Power Hour from, any other radio show, is that we really do care. And so does Bob Chapman, who joins us today. He does care about your financial future, and he says if it's in the bank, get it out. It's going to be ugly before long. Frank, is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
I just have a question for Bob, too. I know actually that on November 11th, China put a lien on the United States, a huge lien. Actually, it's about 10 times what we're told, is the trade imbalance between the two nations. Is there any chance that by going to the international courts, that they actually could, through eminent domain, take property, especially real estate, maybe oil fields that are undeveloped and things,
oh my
as part of their claim against the U.S.?
What a concept. Thank you. I'll have him answer. You can go ahead and hang up, Frank. Wow, that's a question. Now, first of all, do we know that on November 11th that there was a lien put against the United States?
No, we don't.
Okay. Well, Frank, are you still there? Oh, Frank's gone. I want to know how Frank knows that.
And I read the thing, and I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? Oh, Frank, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, how do you know that there was a lien put against the United States?
I read some things in the German financial press, as well as in England, but no news of it in the United States or in the Wall Street Journal or any of the papers of, substance in this country. And nothing about it on our mass media. But,
Bob, you would have heard something about this, wouldn't you, Bob?
Yeah, I have, and I discount it.
You do?
I just don't think that is the way that they would go if they were going to go at all. And you couldn't have blacked it out from the Internet internationally as well as in the United States. I've seen the people who have reported on it. And the reporting that's been done has been done by people who have been very often incorrect.
Even though, let's say, the Frankfurt Zeitung Allgemeine reported it.
Well, first of all, I read the Frankfurter Allgemeine.
Okay.
And I read German. Mm-hmm. And I did not see it in there.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thank you very much for the phone call. I'd like to know if you find out any more about that, Frank. That would be great. John in Virginia. John, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please.
Joyce, a great show always. Bob, always enjoy listening to you.
Isn't he awesome? Hey, by the way, I wanted to tell you, we've got a Power Hour YouTube up, the Power Hour channel on YouTube. And as I understand it, the most often requested one is the Bob Chapman interviews.
Doesn't surprise me a bit. Bob, let me ask you a question, if I may. Do you see us going to a two-tiered system where we have an international currency and a domestic currency? That's the first question. The second question is, where do you see the price of silver going in the next 12 months? And if they truly do collapse this economy, do you think at that point in time they'll try to bring in a global currency and give us $1 for every $3 we have, or how do you see that going exactly?
Well, let's take it one at a time. We could have a two-tiered currency. It's been done before in many nations. It's called currency blocking, and I don't think that it would happen at this time or even after a devaluation, an official devaluation by the government. It would come after that. And there's a good possibility of that, of having external and internal ways of settling things. I lived in South Africa and Rhodesia back in the 1960-70 era, and we were under currency controls. And it was like being in financial prison, actually. And
okay, we've got to go to this break. We'll be right back after this 1 minute, 10-second break. Sorry to have to cut you off. We'll be back with the Power Hour, Bob Chapman, theinternationalforecaster.com. Go there and get a free copy. The initial copy would be free. Check it out.